Machine here, and you're watching Thorin's YouTube channel. 20-minute video for 2 minutes worth of content. Gold.
If you used to be a FNATIC fan, then if someone comes and tells you, like, by the way, flusha's joining again, that's got to be pretty dope.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, the funny thing is that I played with him, like I played with both him and Golden in the VSG Barcelona. So I was going a little bit closer to them, of course, in that period because I had the first experience with them to play in that tournament. And obviously, when they came into the team, I had a good relationship with Golden. I think, like, because Golden and me was maybe talking not that much, but he was like. He supported me a lot because he thought I was really good, and me and flusha did not talk. We did not talk at all. But me and flusha, when he came to the team, we had a really. It was fun because I know so much about him because like JW and Queens was talking with him so much and what he were as a person, and it was really easy to get to know him like fast in that FNATIC team. And obviously, he's a really really fun guy. He's a raw legend, and these things. So it was really. Of course, you get the starstruck when you get this place in the team, but yeah.
From doing interviews, I mean, I always interviewed him, but I've interviewed a lot of people who've played with flusha, and from the stories I've heard, he's someone who should have like a documentary made about him or something, mate, because he is just like some sort of weird genius or something. Like every person tells a story where it's like one person told me, I can't remember if someone in Cloud9 told me, like, oh yeah, he used to be able to IGL and he'd know what all the other team was doing, but he didn't watch demos. He just remembered from playing them. It's like, the fuck? And then similarly, loads of people have those stories where it's like in the clutch, like he just psychic, he just knows where they are. Do you have a good flusha story or something crazy you can tell me about him? Was he like that?
I mean, yeah, I think the funny thing about, obviously I played with really good players, but he's insanely good in how to think about the game. Like if, for example, we had Golden as an IGL and we had flusha as a second caller, and that combo was insanely good, like in mid rounds, insanely good. That's what I think we were insanely good at that period of time, because like Golden, if you do not have like the best game or whatever it is, like in calling wise, flusha just came into the calling, just call instantly for him, and this thing. So I think it was automatic that said flusha is the best player you ever played with, and. Of course, I think flusha is maybe not the best like firepower,
sure,
but I can easily say that he's the smartest guy I ever played with, and I think he's really fun as well. Like I think that FNATIC core was insanely like it was really fun to play because it was insanely good chemistry, I think, in that team.
The coolest thing is, as soon as this lineup was made, you just immediately won the next tournament. It was on Swedish soil. It was obviously Dreamhack Malmo. And if people even look who you played, this is like the ultimate way to break out as a lineup. You beat Astralis when everyone thought Astralis is unbeatable. They just won the major. And then in the final, you beat the ZWoo Vitality that was like on the rise. Everyone was scared shitless of them. This event must be really an impressive event to play in.
Yeah, obviously it was a rough group stage. We lost our opening, I believe it was against Ansem, then we lost the first map against Tyloo in the lower bracket. The first map. So we had a really good games after that. I think we needed confidence from going in the tournament from coming from the lower bracket, because we had these tournaments that we just needed to come from the lower bracket. We couldn't advance to the semifinals instantly, so we needed to lose one match, and then we needed to go as a team. And then, as I said, like we played Tyloo, we played G2 with the new roster. Then we played Furia, and then we played NIP in the quarters in front of the Swedish crowd. It was insanely good, insanely fun. I think
was the Swedish crowd cheering for you? Did they cheer for you that time?
I mean, of course they didn't.
Because you're FNATIC, right? Okay, right, fair enough.
No, but I think, of course, the funny thing is that when we won an AP, everyone was putting a FNATIC t-shirt on, so it was...
Oh, right, switching teams, that's cool.
Yeah, so it was really fun in that period, but... no, I think it was insanely fun tournament. It's like the best tournament I've ever been to, because like it's easy to say because we won it, of course, but my family was there, my friends was there. It was insanely good tournament overall by Dreamhack, I would say, and playing in Malmo as well. Like it's a I just miss playing in Sweden, and in that period of my life, like it was like that period of my life was really obviously it's really good right now, of course, but like in that period, like it was just a different thing to me, because like it was just a different thing. Like I don't know how to explain it, but it was just in that period when we went from Dreamhack to like EPL, ECS, like it was insanely good chemistry in the team, and like that team was insanely happy with how everything was going.
In that semis, when you played against Astralis, the cool thing is, this is actually almost about a year from that one at Chicago the year before. And this time, you didn't just play them. When you played, the map you won on was Nuke, and it was an overtime game, and you dropped a 40 bomb on them. That's got to be pretty sick, putting a 1.25 rating on Astralis' head.
I didn't remember that, to be honest, that I was playing good, but obviously I think we lost versus NRP, I believe. Yeah, we lost versus NRP on Nuke the day before, so we know that Astralis is going to pick it, so we just went to like, fuck the strat book basically. We just going straight
Right.
into playing and no. And I think like to be honest, I think our nuke was insanely bad. Like it was not good.
Oh,
at all.
wow.
So I think it was not good at all. So I think it was pretty fun that we actually won that nuke.
Were you at all worried when you played Vitality? I mean, they had Ziwu, even Shocks was good back then. They were kind of on the right. Did you think they were going to beat you?
I mean, no, like of course. I mean, obviously, I think they were really good, of course. But I think we had the confidence to actually go to win the tournament because we had a really good run. We came from the lower bracket, and then we came. Yes, we had a really good like tournament overall. Like I think the thing about the first tournament is that no one is basically knowing what you are doing as a team, and that is I think it's really easy to play them because like the opponent you are playing, they don't know anything what you're doing, and like they don't have like the like of course they had the maps from the tournament before we played them. But I think Golden has insanely like when he came to our team, he had insanely defaults, if I say so, like
Right.
to play on every map, and that felt the practice week we had before we go into Malmo because we had a good boot camp before that. We just practiced on everything he gained from his off time in Cloud9, and then he went like he had a short break, and then he was just thinking at how he wanted to play CS, and I think it was a really good thing, like a really good type of CS that was perfect for our team because Swedish CS overall is a really like weird, like it's like a style of like defaulting things, try to mid-run things, and then it was basically going into the tournament with like a whole new thing, basically with what Golden set like for everyone of us, and I think it was insanely good for the whole team, and like everyone did not know what we were doing. For example, I just believe that we had a really insane default on overpass that no one could shut down, to be honest.
The funny thing is, when you went to the next tournament, the one you made the finals of, the StarSeries in Turkey, it's like the same thing. You started out, shit, you lost to Renegades. It's like, what the fuck? You always have to like build your way back in. This team, people will know it was a very good team. It was always making top four. Did it have like a clutch factor? Is there a reason why you had to sort of get punched in the face in the tournament before you have to wake up?
Yeah, I mean, obviously, I think as I said, like, I think Renegades was really, they were like, I think they did not have the best team on paper, but they were really good at playing basically good CS. But I think, as I said, not good the best players, I think. But the funny thing is that after we lost versus Renegades, like Hazard was just going in front of VW and clapping, and VW got really, really frustrated from that things, and it's really fun. I really remember, but. Yeah, it was a good wake-up call. I think we played MOUZ in the lower bracket, and then we played...
MIBR?
Yeah, MIBR, exactly. We played EG, I believe it was, in some way.
It was Vitality to qualify, but then what happened is in the upper and the final you played EG. The problem is EG is the team that beat you. Listen, people know that was the good one. That was the one that had won New York over... Was there something about their team? Why were they so good?
I think... as I said with Liquid team, I think EG is one of the team I really miss because I think that having a second American team was really another thing. I think because like I think Zerk was insane.
Yeah.
Breeze was one of the best. Like how would say it, like when he had his peak, like his aim was insane, I think.
Yes.
And then it was really hard to play against them because they had Ethan, they had Tarek, they had Stanislav. Like they have so much firepower overall, and it was really tough to play against them. And I think our style against them did not fit because like they were just straight taking duels every single time, and I think it was hard for us to play against. So in that tournament, we couldn't manage to beat them.
Right, it's funny that in the minor with the old lineup, you lost to Carrigan's Mouse Sports because they're the ones that obviously in Pro League, you got all the way to the final, you'd beat NAVI, this Team Liquid, this is looking awesome, it's like you're going to win the tournament, and then you had to play Mouse Sports, and they got you in the final, right?
Yeah.
What was this event like?
No, this event was, I think it was like the last event of the year, so I felt like I just need to give my all. I believe in that time as like I got a lot of confidence, like I believe it like when we played ECS, I think my coach Samuelsson, he was talking with the Astralis boys, one of the Astralis boys, and they said like basically when it was Krieg meta, they don't even want to buy the Krieg because they don't want me to get
to give you it right
on the seed side.
Sure.
To get me into the seed side. And it was like, if Astralis are saying that they are not afraid,
it's pretty dope. Yeah.
Like, they respect it. I was like, holy shit! Like I got so much confidence from that.
Okay.
Like that thing, So basically, when we went to EPL, we had our Vertigo. We started to play Vertigo before that, and I really loved Vertigo. That was the time I really started to love Vertigo, and then no one know what I was doing. I was just going full W and A ramp on Vertigo and just kill everyone with the Krieg. And we played them at BR and I think in lower bracket. And I just remember myself that I was going A ramp against Fallen and KNG was just they had no chance against me, to be honest. It was really fun, and then we make it to playoffs after beating 100 Thieves. When we went against the 100 Thieves team, when we qualified for the playoff stage, and I just remember JW clapping.
Oh, to get the revenge, right? Okay, exactly. Fair play.
That was fun. No, but I think overall after that we like the playoffs, like we as said, like that was first time we beat Liquid, and we just played them like 1 week earlier on the ECS final. So it was really, it was just same map pool in the BO3 and had a lot of momentum going from the group stage because as I said, like again, we had this lower bracket again. We lost against EG 16-3, I think it was in the opening game, and then we went to lower bracket. We lost against the first map in lower bracket again against Heroic, the first map. So we went from, as I said, like the lower bracket runs was always could be good for us because like if we go out, like we can't lose this because then we're going out from the tournament.
Yes.
And I think it's maybe, of course, not the best thing, but in same way, I think it was a good thing for us as well. But going from the lower bracket to the playoffs, we had a lot of playing and a lot of momentum. And then we played Liquid. We beat Liquid quite easily. I think it was 2-0. And then we played NAVI. I think NAVI did not have the sharpest team, maybe with Guardian and Simple, because it's just a role conflict in that team then. And then, we played MOUZ Sports and they destroyed us.
Even so, though, you actually had a really good final in that one. Your stats are really good. It seemed like you were popping off.
Yeah. I think, as I said, like a lot of momentum, a lot of confidence coming from the speech that Astralis said. No, but I think it was insanely good event from myself. And as I said, like I wanted to give it all. Like I just wanted to win, and give it all and enjoy the environment in Odense because I think like the city overall, like it was just a good atmosphere overall, I think, in the team and like in the tournament overall, and it was just a really good feeling to play like in front of the crowd as well. It was really, really fun.
Even though the next year, Katowice was obviously the notorious one where there wasn't even any crowd for the playoffs because it was like we were just about to do all the online shit and the world's going to shut down. At the same time, at this point in your career, you haven't had a big run at a major yet. You haven't had a big run at a Katowice or a Cologne. Obviously, you've been the one now. It's a big deal, right? It's still, even though you lost to G2 in the semis, which maybe is like a heartbreak, but this has to be an interesting performance. You get to play in the sport deck, all that jazz. What was it like?
Alright, it was pretty sad, of course. I believe that my family was coming to.
Oh wow! Okay.
Needed to cancel everything in the last minute, but I think overall, it was really fun to play in the arena in front of no crowd, of course. But it was just a fun event. We did not play the best CS I think we had, but we did not come from the lower back in that time, so the previous week did not go that far, But Singapore was still a good thing, But playing against that G2 team, I think they had a really good start of the year, like a whole new team with Nick and Hunter, and it was a good team overall, I would say. But after that, I think it was. After that it was an online meta. So
even though in the first event online, people will forget this. You guys won Pro League. You won the first online tournament. But the problem is, after this, the whole team went down, and basically it looked like you were one of the only players that kept playing good. Right? The obvious question to ask before I ask about the online period is this. I know it's an obvious thing to say, but this is like the worst time ever for your team specifically to not be able to play the LANs. Every LAN you go to, you're getting through the hard times, you're bouncing back. You've beaten nearly every team, by the way, at this point in time. Like pretty much every single squad's been beaten. I'll always wonder if there'd have been a major in that spring period, you guys could have won it maybe, right?
Yeah, I think, as I said, like it's really bad time, like a really rough time to everything. It's just no majors, you know, because I felt like, I said, like I did not even attend a major. Like at FNATIC, after that, my first major was in Antwerp, and it was like 3 years between Katowice and Antwerp, so it was like really rough period. And I think if I said like if there was no pandemic in that time, I think we could easily come like to players at least, and because I think like that team, like in that period when we won EPL and they know these things, but a lot of momentum, and we played insanely good CS, I think, if we just played like I think the sad thing is that when we came from the LAN events, we came from Katowice, we had 4 finishes all the time before the pandemic came in, and I feel like it's the same. It's the same how it's like the team then as my current team in MOUZ, that we are we were really consistently with everything what we were doing, and we were playing really good CS together, and then we just finished like top 4 all the time, and basically I think it was unfortunate there was no major in that time.
Is it fair to say, I mean, I know a lot of people probably had a hard time during that period. I know a lot of the older players actually sometimes it ended their careers or they couldn't get in top teams anymore. If I look at the stats, even Brollan eventually starts to go down as the years go on, as it kept going. Because I always tell people the real issue is at the beginning, if you can't remember, everyone really did just think, is this going to be a month or 2, maybe 3 months? And then suddenly it was only when we were about, you know, by the end of the year, everyone was like, fuck, is this just going to be another year as well? I know it kind of bombed people out. Did it get to you? Is that why your performance went down?
I mean, I think my performance was still like okay, I would say, but I think the whole team overall did not have the motivation to maybe play like CS all the time. Like it was just a online area, you know. Everyone, the motivation I think for everyone was just going down. But myself, I think my motivation was always there. I was always playing FaZe it, you know, like CS overall outside of like practice and all these things, and I just like obviously like I was just a kid, you know. I felt like, you know, I just turned 18 in that period, and we were boot camping in Sweden at the JW's place, not in his house, but he had an office in his hometown. It was just a really fun thing, of course, but I think we played like okay CS in the beginning of the online era, but then as I said, like it was just going downhill all the time, and then I think to be honest, in 2020, there were like in the end, I felt like I wanted something new, basically, because I don't know if people actually maybe thought about this too much, but I was talking with like NAP back in the in that period,
right?
So because like I just wanted a new thing, because I felt like during this online meta, I was like feeling like I wanted like a new change, if I say so. And then I think NAP always wanted me, and then there was I mean, obviously there was talks to maybe go there, but in the end it didn't go through. And in that period, the management in NAP wanted to change flusha and get in xertioN, and I think that time it was a mistake to part with flusha, because it was I think it was it was a big factor that we fought, and yeah, I think Tiny xertioN obviously he was a good talent, but I think he was not ready to play in the big leagues. I think he is obviously a good guy, but in that period I think he was not ready. Like it's not. I think it was nothing against him. It was just he was not good enough to play with us, to be honest, and it showed on the rest as well, because from when we signed xertioN, of course I think we were like top 10 or top 15 in the world before we signed xertioN, but then we wanted to be better, of course, because we wanted to win tournaments. But then we signed xertioN into the team, and then it was just going not even top 30 in the world, you know. So in that time it was really, really rough.
When you, as you say, if anyone listened to my interview with Hampus or Threat or Plopsky, the people around this team, they all say that exactly what you just said, that basically the whole time, especially when they had Device, like the team looked like it was complete and they had obviously the young ninja player all kept getting cycled in and out. They kept saying to the management, just get Brollan now, like he'll come now. If he joins now, like we'll have the team that could win the major basically. But famously, the story goes that they were like, we have Brollan at home. Here's S8, who doesn't even speak Swedish. He was like, what? So obviously that's a pretty notorious story. But in this period, what was the issue? Like you just couldn't get the deal done, or they had interest, but they didn't give you a contract. What was the problem? Why couldn't it happen?
I mean, obviously, I think FNATIC always wanted to build things like around me. They always wanted me, so I was not easy to get out of the contract, if I say so. But I think like the management overall in FNATIC was like, it was in some way like I wanted to go from FNATIC in that period. Like it was this period when 2021 started, so I was top 15 in the world on HLT ranking. So I was pretty expensive, because like I was still really young. I was 18.
Yeah.
FNATIC wanted to rebuild again, for me, and they wanted me to be in the next JW or next Crims, so in that period it was really understandable, and in the same way I really wanted to leave, but FNATIC in the same way is a big family for me, like and with the management, like with Samuelsson and Karn, it was just I love them, to be honest, like there was a big family, and then I felt like I wanted to go, no, I don't want to go, and then FNATIC like they wanted to resign me after NIP, like after that period, and then I resigned because I felt like with signing Yakinyo was had a really had good motivation and expectations for that lineup, so I wanted to resign, and basically I was believing in that team.
They made this weird lineup that was just the international squad, which I will say, actually, if you look back now, if you know what happens now, it's not actually that bad a lineup. Like, obviously, everyone now knows Messi, just won bloody IEM Cologne. Alex was actually still a pretty decent guy. Like, he obviously been in Vitality. Look, Smooya. We can maybe get to that in a second. Crims was still there. Like, on paper, this isn't a terrible lineup, bro. And I remember, like, the results weren't totally terrible. Like, you would have the odd result that looked like, there was maybe some potential. Was there a problem playing in this team?
Of course, it was a lot of problems. Like, I think like when we signed an international lineup with Alex and Messi in the beginning, we had Yakinyo still as an upper, but I thought we should like at that time it was really hard to find an upper, like a good upper, because there was not many uppers that was like speaking good English, and there was some CS uppers that were really good, but they couldn't speak the English English language, but like there was no Swedish uppers, there was like basically there was no uppers, and then we felt like Smooya was like after we benched Yakinyo for Smooya of course has a big ego that was not good for our team, and obviously it was a real risk for our team to sign him. But I think, to be honest, like I think everyone's just talking shit about Smooya FNATIC. How was that? It was not good enough, Sorry. No, but I felt like he was okay. I think the main issue was not Smooya it was just Smooya and Alex in the same team.
Right.
Because Alex and Smooya had a lot of conflicts to each other, and they couldn't get together. Like it was not possible, because like after practice they was just talking so much to each other that way they could not even solve. Like they tried to solve it, and that was really nice that they tried to solve it, but in the end they couldn't solve it, and it was a big problem for us as a team. And I think the thing about with Smooya is that it was really insane. I think it was insane a good upper, like immediately, and I think it was one of the best uppers I played with. But the thing is that the ego, like it did not click, For me, especially like as a person, like I don't like when people are like as a person, But the thing I did not really like is that when we actually benched him in Katowice, after Katowice, he went the funny thing, I think he said to, like, he didn't even know from our management that he was kicked. He thought he got to know it from his manager or whatever it is. I don't remember.
Right.
But it was just a weird thing because he went out on Twitter before the official announcement were out on Twitter, and they said like, yeah, FNATIC was so bad, like they were so bad, like he was talking trash about everyone on Twitch, and I was like, whoa, okay, if you don't want to, like, if you talk shit about me and you talk shit about Crims, we supported you all the time.
Yeah.
And like we wanted you to the team first of all, and then you talk a shit about us because we benched you. But in the same way, that was just really weird that he just. I mean, of course, it's tough that you get him benched because he thought he maybe was not the problem, but he's just talking trash about everyone in the team.
Yeah, unprofessional.
After the best. Yeah, and it's like, of course, if I want, like, he could be a good friend, like after that. But if someone is talking trash about me when I'm not deserve it, like, I just want to ignore it, Don't want to talk with him anymore. And then I think that was the problem for me with him.
Because if everyone remembers, like, obviously one of the people who did not appreciate that was Crims. He did it now. It got deleted straight afterwards, but the internet remembers everything Crims. We all saw that tweet. So he did that tweet where he didn't really, like, he was doing that thing where he didn't say Smooya, but it was just obvious it had to be Smooya he was referencing, right? But then the other detail I want to ask you was this, because this is something I always wonder about on talk shows, right? When people hear things in interviews, especially fucking HLTV interviews, they treat it like it's like you were in fucking court and you were like swearing on the Bible. So you said that famous thing when you left, right? Oh, I want to speak Swedish now. So later when you were playing in teams, like obviously like sometimes NIP didn't even have all Swedish players, and later on MOUZ Sports isn't all Swedish, right? So I used to say back then, I wondered if that was like the Crims thing, if what you really meant was, I just don't want to play with those two English players. Not really like I have to speak Swedish. Is that totally off the ball? Is it sort of true? Did you just want to leave this team basically?
Yeah. I don't think, like, to be honest, I don't think it was anything with Swedish.
Sure.
Swedish, to be honest.
It's a good excuse to get out, isn't it?
Yeah, exactly. Like a good excuse to be out. Like I think it was really from that period. Like when I joined NIP, it was really tough for myself because I really liked FNATIC as a team.
Yeah.
I really liked them. Maybe not a team because there was really so much conflict between Alex
with the org and all the history and stuff, right?
Yeah. Like I just loved the org. I still love the org. That's from now to the day. I love the org, and it was just a really tough thing because I was really happy to join NAP because this was a really new thing. But I was sad in the same way because I thought I was like, I'll say it like, I don't know the exact word in English, but I thought like I made like Samuelson, I made Khan like very sad in that
right.
because they supported me a lot, like especially Samuelson. Like it's like a big brother, for me, and there was hard times, especially with Crims as well, because I needed to say goodbye, or like maybe I didn't, like I think, like if you think about it, I did not do it in a good way. No, of course not. No.
Right. When you came to this NIP team, famously, even though this was still the period where, of course, Device was just like fucking not answering the phone or whatever, no one knew what the fuck was happening with him. Everyone still thought he was coming back every month or whatever. Famously, actually, everyone would have thought this team wouldn't be that good, but then you obviously did this run at the major, like the PGL major. Yeah. I mean, put it this way, this is the first major where it goes awesome, right? Like, I've always said this, even though this is where people have to stop looking at the ranking on like the Liquipedia, because it's all about who you play in the bracket. And look, NAVI was obviously insane, but I think after FaZe and NAVI, like, you guys almost beat FaZe. Like, if you won that one, who the fuck knows? Maybe you were in the final, right?
Yeah, I think like exactly like the PGL Antwerp major was a good experience for the whole team overall. And I think like as I said, we went 3-1 in the Switch day, like in the Switch format, and then we took a map from NAVI. We lost them in the group stage against NAVI 1-2, and we took a map from them, and then we lost against FaZe in the quarters. We took a map from them, and then I thought we should actually won. I mean, obviously we got demolished on Inferno, but we lose some stupid, like insanely stupid rounds on Inferno in the quarters, and I felt like after that loss, where like my brain was like, holy shit, like we could have won that easily.
I mean, put it this way, that fucking ROPS round must live in your head forever. That was ridiculous. The one where they won like a 2v5 or something in the middle, I think something like that on Inferno.
Yeah, I don't remember. Maybe I don't remember too much about it, but I think like for example when the bracket came out for the playoffs, I felt like if we played any single team, we could play like Copenhagen Flames, we could play Ants, we could play Furia, we could play Spirit. Like if we just played one of these teams, I think it would be like an insanely not easy win, of course, but it's like, yeah. But for example, if we played FaZe, it's like if we beat FaZe now, we can win the event. Like we could easily win the event, and I think that was a mentality from everyone in the team that if we wanna win, we need to beat the best. So in that team, like in that period, like when we got the FaZe in the quarters, it's like, yeah, everyone, like we had no pressure. FaZe can, like, they have everything to lose. We have no offer. Like we have no offer. Everyone was just how to say it. Of course, we had an offer like an Easter, but of course, everyone knows that he is not
He's not an elite
offer.
player, of course. Yeah.
And then we said to Aurora, like we had no pressure on ourselves in some way, because like if FaZe lose this against us
sure.
with an offer, I think was just it could be like I think they had so much pressure on themselves in that matchup.
That's actually one of the things. It's funny. There's so many other things with the whole Jonas thing that everyone's got into, and they can have their own opinions. But I actually think if anyone looks, one of the things I always say is he did actually sign some very good players. He just didn't sign them all at the same time. So you weren't there at the same time Device was. You weren't in the same lineup, and so. The one player I have to say I will flame him for is xertioN, because as you just said, there's two factors that are unforgivable. One is like, look, if you said we just have to play this LAN next week, but after that I'll get an AWP. Yeah, well then xertioN can do it. You know what? He can fill a lot of roles. You know, if we just need it for one LAN, you can't have him as just the AWP. Like we're at majors now trying to win him with fucking xertioN. Like I'm not even flaming him as a player. He's not an elite AWP. He knows that. There's a reason he's not the AWP now. And then the other thing that a lot of people didn't know at the time, Brollan, which is mental, which is the story goes from hampus that when they got xertioN, they were like, oh, don't worry though, he's going to learn Swedish, so, you know, then we'll all speak Swedish. And then supposedly the story goes, he just didn't even fucking bother. He just sort of went like, oh, whatever, and then just kept speaking English. Like, these factors, is this part of, do you think, what made your sort of form go down? I mean, it's kind of bullshit to play with these two factors, right? Guys not learning Swedish and can't even fucking AWP. Like, eventually that's going to get to you, right? You can have the odd result, but that's going to get to you, right?
No, of course. I mean, obviously, I think Easter was. I think it was just a good support offer, like in some way, because I think he was not the star, of course. Like he was not the star at all, but he made it easy for myself because like he was just supporting me with like nades all the time, and it was really easy to play with because he was just an offer that, yeah, so like support offer basically because like he didn't want the freedom to shine, you know. And I think when I joined NAP, in my opinion, I think he did not have the best Swedish, of course, but he could. I think he could, of course, understand it. It was no fact of that. I think he could understand Swedish, like in that period. But I can understand it in the beginning because when he joined in November in 2021, when before I joined. But I think it was just a clown fiesta overall, like with the roles, and I think just yeah, I mean, obviously, I think with us tagging as an offer was not good for the team. But
when you say he could understand it, that's one thing. But could he speak it with that fucking Danish accent? Could he actually speak Swedish? Could everyone understand him if he spoke?
Yeah.
Oh,
I mean,
okay, fair enough.
Like he could speak it.
Okay.
He could speak it, like of course, and it was like in my opinion, it was not a problem.
Ah,
like,
right.
In the major, especially, I think it was not a problem or not.
Okay.
But the problem was just I think we played really good CS, to be honest, but it's just I think that was not the main factor that we couldn't go further now.
How would you explain? Because if people look over the year, like it's pretty much just your stats going down, they're just going down, they're going down, right? Then eventually there was that mad thing where you just essentially got like self-benched or the org bench, like we've got to get this guy out. Like what they did that famous mysterious statement where they were like, oh, and even Brollan agrees it was the right thing to do. What does that mean? What does that mean? You yourself thought it's just time to step away. What was wrong? What was the problem for you?
Like when I got benched?
Yeah,
I think like I said, like the role conflict in the team was insanely bad, and I think don't wanna drop names, but like these things. Obviously, I think everyone knows who I'm speaking with.
Yeah,
but if someone is taking control of a CS team that you should not take control of a CS team, and he doesn't know anything what he's doing, like, of course it's gonna go downhill. Like,
I mean, there's a lot of players basically have the same role, and there's like 3 a year or something, right? And so someone can't have his role.
Yeah, but like for example, when I joined Dip, there was some like when I joined Dip, me and Res was kind of in the same roles, I would say. But Res was maybe the secondary-ish. He had like star players on some maps, But like of course, when I joined, device, he's coming back. Of course, he's coming back, but there is not coming back, and it was like easy to like think about. But when I got benched, we had hampus, we had res, we had me, we had config. We all had the same roles basically. But hampus has the IGL role, but he wants freedom as well. He wants the solo roles. He wants to like play a nuke, like he wants to play
Right.
job nuke. He wants to play short or mirage, like these things, you know. And like I'm playing ramp on nuke, and I can't do that. Like I mean, obviously I'm a different player now, but in that period I couldn't play that, and I think it was really hard to me to play like in the lurk positions when my team, like when my team, how to say it, like I think the job what they did like in the how to say it, like in the space creator, when we had Aleksib in the team, when config and him was in the how to say it, the space creating roles, you know, it was just a clown fiesta overall, because like there was like the defaults was insanely bad. And like I say it now to xertioN, for example, in my team. I'm really thankful that you're doing the job, because I can't play if you are not doing the job.
Right.
Like if you are dying all the time, how can I play my lurk position?
Yes.
Like it's impossible. And in that period of time, like I was just so frustrated, because we did so much mistakes all the time, and we did so much mistakes all the time, and no one wanted, like, especially like I think with config and with the Danya hat trick, like it was really hard for those two to, how say it, like to adapt maybe in some way, because like they did, I think it was done, like Hedgehog was he was insanely skilled, you know, but I think it was a lot if he could not listen to his own mistake, if I say so,
Right.
criticism. I think in some, like of course he could do it good, but I think he could do it much better. And it was that thing, I think the problem with Hedgehog especially came from. And then with config, he was like, of course, I think he pressed so much W, like he was so aggressive. He couldn't have the mixed things. It was always like always W all the time,
Yes.
and that's why I think the team overall had so much role like issues, because like when I got benched, I had the space creative roles all the time that I wanted to, but I know that in back of my head, like config can't play my own
Oh,
position.
right.
Like, he can't play lurk positions, and like he was just sometimes he couldn't even, like I know he's not gonna perform, and like it was just a clown for mess. Like I wanted to play the space creator was because I know that I'm better than like at config on this position,
Yeah.
and then that's why I wanted to play them. But like the thing is that we just did so much mistakes all the time. It was just like I said, like clown fiesta overall with the role wise, and we couldn't win because of it, I think.
But obviously, people will look back, and even that roster on paper does just like, what the fuck is this? Like, it's just like five
Yeah.
random players. Like, what the hell? But obviously, people now know Aleksib B's pretty much changed his whole career narrative. Now people don't hate on him and say shit. What did you actually? I know it was obviously not a great team, but what was it like to play with him? What was he like?
I think Aleksib was insanely nice person. I think he's one of the, like he's still a guy that I enjoy to talk to very much. I think he has a like sort of aura, you know, when he come like when I look at him, he's like really. Before he came into NIP, I thought he was really cool because he was just different. Like he was just a Finnish guy who is not feeling like a Finnish guy, you know, because
Sure.
he's really taking much interviews and all these things, basically.
Yeah, outgoing.
And I think when he joined the team, I felt like he was really cool, like really cool guy. And but with the in game leading wise, I think it was not the best in that period of time, because I felt as he's saying in many interviews that there was many role clashes in the team, and I think I totally agree with him that it was just not the right time for him to play in that team, because like I understand him for 100% that he can't lead a team that is full of chaos in roles, and I think that's why that he couldn't bring the A game, like the best out of him, because there was so much chaos, I think, with the role wise and stuff. But I truly like I was truly like trusting him with. I mean, of course, I think it was maybe as I said, like maybe not the best call in that time, because I thought like Blade something it said something that he's not. When he joined Navi, he was like a tier 2 agent, and maybe not. Maybe I agree in some way, maybe I don't agree in some way, because I think that the time when now he has with Navi, he is way. I think he experienced a lot of things with Blade and these things. I think he gets a lot. He improved a lot, I think.
Even when you were benched, you were still playing. You just weren't playing for an IP. Did you just try to keep your skills going? Were you aware you were going to get another chance somewhere? Did you think?
Yeah, I mean, of course, there was not many teams, but there was some smaller teams that I was talking to. We wanted to create a Swedish lineup again with me and Hampus because me and Hampus got benched in that same period, and there was I don't remember exactly what it was, but I think there were some rumors that you can confirm that. I mean, obviously I was talking with FNATIC back in days as well because I really missed them. Felt like there was my home still, and Queens was still there, Samuelson was still there, and Keita as well. So I felt that was a good fit for me, but I wanted maybe something like better in some way because like I know that I was still a sick still a sick player because like the stats says themselves like I was not the guy. Like I think nowadays I proved it myself that this stats doesn't say much for me. It said much for the community because like it was so much red all the time. But I know that myself, if I just got the right fit and if I believe in myself, I know that I will be maybe not at the top as right now, but I know that I will be a really good player. And I think at that time I was just CS2 came out. I was playing a lot of FaZe, and yeah, one night MOUZ just wrote on me on Twitter DM, and then they wanted me to stand in the blast, and of course I wanted to do it, so it was fun.
One of the things that must have been cool is sometimes when a player, like from the outside, has what happened to you, where like there are high peaks early, but then the numbers go down, they're benched, etc. Someone might do this take. They might just go, "Oh, it's a shame, he didn't make it," or "Oh, if only he'd been better." But actually, almost the whole Swedish scene came out, and they were all doing tweets, and everyone was just saying, "Oh, don't give up on this guy. Like, I promise you, if he gets in the right team, he'll come back." Did you actually feel like people supported you in Swedish CS?
Like both yes and no.
Okay.
I felt like there was of course there was many people that was just totally the funny thing is that there's some people that are, I think they're really, how to say it, like fake in some way.
Okay.
Because I think like there was many people that thought like, yeah, Brolin is totally done.
Oh, wow. You're washed. Right.
Yeah, he's washed. He's never going to be in the top tier level again.
Right.
And then I joined MOUZ Sports and I did very good. And it's like, yeah, he's really good. I was like,
Same people, right, sure.
You just talk trash to me on Twitter 3 months ago. Now,
Right.
then now you say that I'm really good, of course. But no, I think just in that time, there was many rumors that we wanted to create a Swedish team. And I think it was, not when I was there in that period, it was not close, but I just know that they went with the Plopsky instead of me. I believe it in another, because when I joined MOUZ, they wanted to still create a new team, and that was with Plopsky instead of me. And I was there. They wanted to make a team. I don't know who it was, but we had talks with each other, and we wanted to make a team. But there was a lot of issues with buyouts and these things. So I couldn't really. Obviously, I think it was a lot of support overall. I think it was mainly support for the Swedish scene. There's always gonna be more positive guys and negative guys, of course. But it was a tough period for myself. But there was not many happy people that I went to international instead of going to the Swedish scene.
A lot of people might not know this, but obviously when you just went to MOUZ initially, it was only as a pure stand-in. They just needed a fifth player. Obviously, Frozen had been signed by FaZe. Right? Here's the obvious question to me. If you'd have done that LAN, and I don't know, you played shit or the comms wasn't great or something, do you think would they have not picked you up? Was that a make or break tournament, do you think?
Yeah, I think so. Like, the funny thing, when I got the call, like when I got when I know that they wanted to play with me in that tournament, like I was insanely working my asses off. Like I was watching. The funny thing, I was watching every single Frozen demo they had played in CS2. It was around like 20 or 25 maps. I was just watching his POV instant, like consistent, every single time. I was rewatching them. I wanted this, I wanted to be ready. I knew that I will be good if I am just ready, I'm just comfortable, and I wanted to be more like comfortable as much as I could. So that's why I was watching these demos all the time, because I just like, I don't want to be the next Frozen, of course, like the next Frozen for the lineup, but I know who they are working with basically, because I know he was playing, if I say so. And when I went to the tournament, I had a lot of pressure. There were some rumors they want another player than the tournament, and these things was very hard for me to actually have the mindset for performing, because it was really hard mentally for me myself, because there was a lot of pressure. But I was trying to like not think about it, because in that period I was like, now I'm just a stand-in, and if they want me, it's up to me. It's up to me to choose if they wanted me or no. And I think I really did it. I think we had like 5 or 1 week of practice before we went to that event, and I played really good, I think. And then we went to the blast tournament, and I think I played really good, to be honest. I think people didn't expect me to show up these numbers, if I say so. So it was a good event, I think.
Then, obviously, once you actually got signed, you went to Katowice, and you guys had the run. It's only you lost to the FaZe, who at the time was always making the finals, like the same team you'd lost to at the Blast. Like this team, you're making big results already with the team. Did you already know this team was good? I mean, you had a pretty good run at Katowice. You beaten some big names.
Yeah, I mean, of course, they had a really good team. I mean, I know that before I just came to the team that they, of course, they won Pro League, and then now. And what I mean, obviously, I think the lineup itself is really talented, and I saw it like instantly from the day one I was standing in for them, and I know that we could do many deep runs in the team, and it was a very good fit for me to show myself that I wanted to perform well, and I think like Frozen had really good roles in the MOUZ lineup, and I thought like if he had, I mean, he obviously had a really good performing in that MOUZ team, and I thought like I think it was not the best like fit for me in that team in that period, but in the like when the time came, and when time moving on, I was learning so much about the role, like the lurker role, because Frozen had a lurker role, and I was learning so much about it. And now when I'm playing now, I feel I'm a lurker, because like in FNATIC and NIP, I was a space creator guy, and now I'm a lurker. It's a totally different thing. And now I think it's just meant to be a lurker for me. But of course, I mean, it's some way it's really, because like there's like obviously you played 2 roles and they're totally different, and you know how hard it is to be the space creator role, so yeah.
As someone who did play that original role, though, it must give you an extra appreciation for xertioN. I mean, I've just said it earlier, he's one of my favourite players, mate. What do you think of him?
Yeah, I think it's hard words, but I think he's the best player I ever played with.
Oh, okay. Is he better than you at Space Creator?
Of course not. No.
You have to think that, don't you, of course?
No, but no, I think obviously, I think he's insanely good. Like, he is insanely good communication, and I think he's just it's just raw talent overall, and it's just when he's playing his own game, and he's really good communication, and he's just when he's playing CS, like what way he does, it's just so insane. It's so insanely, and he's just the role he has is I think it's by far IGL is by far the hardest, but like after playing the space creator role, I think it's so hard to play.
For sure.
And like what he does. He's so consistently, and it's so hard. I think to he's not his modern English, and of course it's good English, but like playing that thing is like it's just insane for me that he can play this good role when he's not experienced at all. Like he's maybe played in 2 years of maybe 3 years now in Taiwan, and it's just for me it's just insane. And yeah, I think it's just, as I said, like he's an insane player, and I think it's really fun to see what I did not know about the space creator thing, because I think for example, if I'm playing the space creator guys, space creator like after him now, or if I just look at it, I'll take every experience from
you'll steal all of his style, right? Okay.
Yeah, because like I think it's just insanely good on what he's doing. So yeah.
obviously at the RMR, people forget this result because obviously RMR's whatever in it, but it's pretty. I remember everyone just saw it Katowice. Nobody could do anything against Spirit. They were just crushing everyone dead. And then they played you guys. You 2-0'd them. Give me some thoughts on this match.
I think we had a really good preparation going to the game that I think we were so ready to play them. Like I thought people thought they were insanely good, but I think of course I thought they were insanely good to go into the tournament, but I felt like we know that we can beat everyone basically, and then it's not impossible to beat them, you know. So it's like overall, I think it was a good game plan overall that we had back in that game.
When you guys went to the major, this is one of the problems. This is where I thought before some people, maybe I did, said MOUZ chokes a little bit. But this is the tournament that made everyone like, they're permanent chokers. They can never, ever win a match on stage. Because the way you guys just smurfed in the Swiss system, it was too easy. It looked like, oh my God, Whitman, they've just beaten Spirit and they're smashing everyone here. Like, when that bracket came out, bro, a lot of people thought your team was going to be in the final. Like, remember, NAVI was like whatever at the time. Eternal Fire was like, wow, they're there. And actually at the time, G2, everyone was like saying they want Huxley fired. So a lot of people saw that bracket and they were like, this is your chance to be in the final. And you guys lost that game to G2. Like, I will add in some context. It was the one with that mental thing where people started just rushing on stage and stuff. But if people look in the server, the team did kind of collapse. This was a bad match. Can you give me some thoughts? What happened at this major? What were the highs? What were the lows?
No, but I think the tournament overall, I think it was really good. Like in how I think it's really good tournament overall. Like we in the group stage that we had a really good momentum overall, and we played a really good CS. And when we went to the playoffs, we had like 1 week off before, between the group stage and the playoffs. So the momentum was almost like gone in some way. And then obviously the arena stage, like when people rush the stage.
Did that affect you?
We could not play after that. Like we could not play, and we.
Is it true? I heard something mad, like because the fans think because they knew what was happening, like, oh, it's just some idiot ran on stage and they were tackled. I've heard that like the admins were coming in, like, hey, get out, like people coming on stage, like it almost made it seem like I don't want to say something crazy, but like almost like a terrorist attack or something mental's happening. You know, like was it something where you didn't know what was going on, what was happening?
I mean, no, we did not know at all what was going on. We just knew that people were rushing the stage, and you know, like in this period, we know, like it was so much things going around the world, you know. And
of course,
I'm the guy that thinks in the worst way.
Oh, right.
Like I'm the guy, you know. And then it happened. I mean, obviously, I think I think it was just a bad moment overall. Like I don't wanna, I was not like try to think about it too much, but it's just the stage rush was overall affected us so much. And I mean, we're a really young team overall, and I think everyone got really scared in the team, and it was just don't want to go into much details, but like behind the scenes, it was just a fake info that we got.
Oh, right, I see. Right after this though was when you went to that Chengdu event. And you made it all the way to the final. But obviously the problem, and everyone in MOUZ knows this, is at least at that point in history, the one team that actually always beats MOUZ is just fucking FaZe Clan for some reason, for whatever reason. Why was FaZe Clan so hard to beat?
I think FaZe are like the team that we had really tough to play against, because like they had really good, how to say it, like the plays that are always really tough to play against, I think. And like in that period, they had really good rounds. They were playing finals all the time, and I think they're really good, like overall, because like they're really annoying plays that were all like good, like preparation, I'll say as well. Like I think we got totally outplayed in some situations, and they make it really uncomfortable for the team they're playing against.
Is it the case, by the way, I know in your team, like your team is one of the ones that wants to have the prep and wants to know the anti-strats, etc., and know what they're going to do on the maps. If you play a team that's like that, people know Carrigan's pretty famous for like switch up the mid-round, do a crazy call at the end of the game. Is that harder to play against? Do you prefer to play against the structured teams?
I mean, I don't want to go that much into detail about that, but I think Carrigan does a great job to switch everything up. Like sometimes it's just taking space by his own. Meanwhile, his own team is just doing another thing, and I think it's mainly because of that. I mean, I think Rops is just insanely good at making pressure as a lurker as well. So it's not easy to play against these two type of players that are really annoying. Like I think Rops especially, like it's just like he's basically like an anchor. He doesn't anchor in some situations, like on Nuke, for example. Like he mainly is the ramp guy, but he's basically not playing ramp, So it's just really hard to play against, I think.
When you guys went to ESL Pro League, this is obviously the event you won. But in the final, this is the match I want to ask about. Because your bracket looked easier to some people, as Vitality had to beat like a bunch of big names, a lot of people probably expected, like, look, it's Vitality. Zeewoo's probably going to go crazy in the final. He'll be the MVP, and Vitality's going to win this event. You guys won 3-0. I mean, you actually showed there what a great map pool you had as well. What did you think of winning this event? How did it happen?
I mean, of course, I think obviously, I think it was no pressure at all. I think it was in studios, of course, and everyone knows that we are really good in studios, of course. But I think I was really a bit shocked, to be honest, maybe not shocked that we won the event, to be honest, but I think we were insanely good in that tournament, and I think we had a really good preparation as well going to the tournament, and we were really ready. And I felt like everyone in the team was just popping off in practice, and we won every single practice, I think. And
oh wow!
I think overall that we just demolished everyone basically in the group stage as well. Like we had really good confidence going into every matchup, and when played especially like when we won versus like bigger teams, for example, like we won. I mean, obviously, I think we are really we are always the best. Of course, we think we're the best team in the world, but when you beat when we come to the quarterfinal, when we beat G2 in the first, it was just confidence put to beat everyone, I think.
Right, even though that Betboom tournament wasn't giant, the key thing is you got to play Spirit again, and this was another 3-0. I mean, I know it's not a giant event, but again, the cool thing to me about this angle is this is why, even though people spin it as they're just chokers, what this actually shows is, maybe there's still something to overcome on stage, but if there's no stage around, you actually might be the best team in CS. Like you've kind of proven it in a few matches, right? These are the best teams in the world.
Yeah, I mean, especially in that Betboom tournament, I think we just had got, like I said, much momentum right now. But I think momentum is a important thing to have. Especially when we played this Betboom tournament, I think we were the best team in the world basically, and I think it's showing on rankings as well that we were the best. And when we went into the Spirit game, we knew that if we win this tournament, we're gonna be officially top one on both rankings, everywhere. And then I think Spirit have a tough time to play against us, and I think we just know how to play against them basically, and I think they're really. I think I don't know why, but sometimes I think they're saying it to themselves because it's maybe an excuse, but they're not showing up when they're playing against us, to be honest. And I don't know if there is themselves, but I think we are playing a really insane game against them, and sometimes they go into the interviews and say that they did not show up or whatever it is, and it's hard to believe, but I think we still beat them, so I bet I think they have a hard time to play against us, to be honest.
Like I said, the reason why it's a tough scenario is, I think when fans hear the idea of someone choked on stage or they're not as good on stage, they think it just means it's almost like being online, anyone could be good until the big match. It's no, you're not listening. They can beat everyone until it was in the big match. That's actually a weird position to be in, because on the one hand, you should be really confident, right? You can beat these teams. You might even have beaten them in other tournaments, but put it this way, when I asked xertioN, he was kind of quite forthcoming. He said, okay, I can admit we choked. Yeah, I can admit we had problems and we got over. Are you similar? Do you think is it nonsense? Do you think the team has choked?
In the top stages games?
Yeah.
I mean,
what do you think?
It's, to be honest, I think the stage games we're just playing FaZe Clan. To be honest, I think when we enter the stage matches, we are. In Blast World Final, we played FaZe. In Katowice, we played FaZe. In G2, we got Rust on stage.
And then Chengdu, you played FaZe again? Yeah. Okay.
And then from there, we played Cologne. And that's basically it. And I think we showed good results now in Cologne against G2. And of course, we good close maps against NAVI as well. So I think the stage thing, of course, it's it's a big topic, but I don't think it's like I don't really care because I know it's not the truth. Like I know that we have no problem. I don't think we have any problems to stage like go up on stage. To be honest.
Right, what about, obviously, at the moment, the team you're trying to get past is obviously Navi now. You've had a couple of times where they've gotten you, your old mate Aleksib there. What is tough about playing Navi?
I think they just very. I think they just, as well. I think it's really. I think every one of them is just fitting their roles perfectly, and I think they have good leadership behind them. I think they just group of. I think they're just like a group of like. I think they're like good chemistry behind like between them, and I think it's really important for them, especially and because like like with Navi before that, I don't know how good it was, but Um, no, but I think just overall it's a good team overall that has a lot of firepower and like the roles are really good between them and like Bit is like when I think he's one of the best drivers in the world for sure and Bit when it's just I think he's finding his playstyle in some way because he's like a lurker-ish like in some way and then if he's like popping off in some way like he has same roles as me and I think he's doing like a cool playstyle of his roles because like sometimes he's just really aggressive, sometimes he's really passive, sometimes he's just he doesn't care, he needs to kill this guy. Yeah, I think his confidence is insane because like if he sees like if he hears someone like close to him, straight going for a duel. Like doesn't matter if whatever it is, I think. And I think his game sense is insane that he reads the game very well, I think. And I mean it's hard to say because I haven't played with him, because I don't really know how he's thinking about the game, whatever it is. But if you look at outside the game, I think he's looking really good.
Let me ask about some of the other people in your team. So what about Jimpphat? Who is this guy? I mean, he's another young guy who's come on the scene, suddenly he's good. But he seems like he has a very unique playing style and strengths.
Yeah, I mean, I think he reminds me like of myself a lot, to be honest. Like, I think, yes, just as I said, like in the beginning of this interview, that if you have the hype around you, you're gonna have much confidence, and I think he's exactly in that steps he's going. Like, he's just so much confidence around him, and I think it's just he's playing with it and he's enjoying it, and I think it's just playing by like with the flow, and it's just it's an insane aim. One of the best aims I've seen, to be honest, and he's just insanely skilled, and he wants to be better. And I think he takes criticism like insanely good.
What about Suihy? Obviously, you've played with a lot of in-game leaders. What is he like? What's his style?
Yeah, so I think it's really different to the other IGLs I've been playing with. I mean, obviously, I think he's obviously a really good IGL, of course. I mean, I think his mid rounds are really good. I think he does it easy for the team overall to play. Like not basic CS, but like the defaults I think the defaults he's calling, like how to proper like defaults and stuff. It's really good, and then I think like xertioN helps him with a lot of that as well with on the teasers especially. And I think like we're playing or how is his calling is just a good overall like defaults, and obviously it's really good. I think it can outplay like our opponent's IGL really easy in some way. Maybe not really easy. That's maybe a hard word, but in some way like he can outplay I think he can outplay a whole team basically with his calling.
One thing I feel like is really unique about your team is it's not like there's a ZywOo or a Dawn coming, but you just have basically all the players are just skilled. Like you are the team where it's happened many times. Like everyone can have a 1.1 plus rating. Like suddenly all people can contribute. It must be really unique to being compared to some of the teams you've been in the past.
Yeah, I think as I said, like I think we have a good consistent team, to be honest. Like I think everyone's just hardworking and put into the hours into the game, and I think it's very nice to see that people are like enjoying to be with each other. And then I think it came from, but I think like I think like going from like to, as I said, like from going from a star player like Donk or ZywOo and these things, and then I think we have pretty not a star player in our team, but like we have 5 individuals that are comfortable with each other and we can just perform with each other. We need to have everyone's backs, if I say so. For example, if xertioN has a bad game, like Jimmy is gonna step up. If Jimmy is a bad game, I'm gonna step up. If I like these things, I think it's just Jimmy. Like I think Jimmy is like compared to other anchors, I think he's insanely good. That he, for example, like an anchor can be this stable as him, you know, because I think there's not many teams in the world that has a, like this stable anchor.
No, no. Right, one thing I'll ask you, I'll reference back to what I was saying when I messaged xertioN, which is if you listen to fans, because they've got this narrative in their head of like, right, well, MOUZ just chokes on stage, so, you know, they're not ready to win. Like, you know, they can win if it's a small event, but if it's the big event, or like Katowice, they're not going to win. Right, I would go the other way. I would say this, Brollan. If you watch the results of MOUZ, I mean, if anyone looks this year, there's not many teams have beaten MOUZ in the best of three. Like, you have like an insane record. And even, I think people don't know how many times you guys have been in the playoffs, top four, finals. It's a really, really good run. So here's what I would say. Fuck all that shit of like, it's a bit like we were talking about when you were in FNATIC in that StarSeries where it was like, oh, I'm in the final, but like maybe it's okay to lose. If I was your coach, I would say to this team, we're going to win the Shanghai Major. Like, we're good enough. Yeah. Like, of course we are. There's no like, let's see if we do well or maybe we can make the final. But we're going to win it, right?
Yeah, of course. I think like, I mean, of course, I think we're like, if you are a top 5 team, your goal is to win the major. Like if you don't have this goal, it's mind blowing, if I say so. And I think like every time we are going to a tournament, we have the goal to win it. And it's same for the like Shanghai Major that of course we want to win it. I mean, obviously, I think it's no question against that.
You mentioned it earlier, and obviously, let's just put all the disclaimers so no fan gets mad. Right now, he loves it in MOUZ. He loves xertioN. He loves all the way it's working. He's doing his roles of lurker. He's enjoying it. He's getting good. But one day, I mean, you're still pretty young. You're going to play CS for 5, 6, maybe 10 years. Who knows? One day, Brollan's going to be a space creator, aggressive rifler again. True?
To be honest, I haven't been thinking about it. Like because like the period we have now, but of course, like it's hard to say, you know. But like in some way, maybe I'm gonna go back to this role. Maybe I'm gonna switch to IGL. Like I don't know.
Okay, right.
Like there's many things that could happen in the future, of course. But I think at the moment I'm feeling really good with this team and like the lurk position. I learn a lot from it, and from every tournament I experience much from it, and I think. How to say it? I can always be better, like in the lurk position, and I think it's. I just gain confidence all the time from it, and I think it's really fun.
At the end of this interview, do you have a final message? Do you want to thank anyone or say hello to anyone?
No, I want to thank you for inviting me, of course. I think it was really fun to talk about my career. I think I've never done it to anyone, and I mean, obviously, I want to say thank you for all the fans that I mean, I just came home from Cologne and just had an experience in the Lanxess Arena. So thank you all for everyone to support me through my career, ups and downs. The Swedes, I love the Swedes, you know, Sweden on top, you know. No, but I'm really thankful for everything, and it's really appreciated for everything.
Tack så mycket.
Tack så mycket.
Everyone needs a support network, and mine is, of course, my Patreon community, the Scrominati, who, in many ways, they're the Sonny to my Cher, saying, I got you, babe. So this video and all the others on my channel were kindly supported by the following names: Ahmed Hadju, Matt Pugnaccio Rakula, Adam Tomlin, Animosity, Jensen Go, Tosh, Toucan, and you know it. Jerky's Minion, my main man, always going to be referenced, one of the best patrons of all time. Would you like to ask a question in my AMA? Maybe you want to suggest a topic or a guest to say on my channel? Do you want teasers? Find out who the upcoming Reflections and Talk to Thor interviews are. Maybe you want to do one of those long discussions where you get to set the topics we talk about. Well, if any of these or others appeal to you, put your money where your mouth is. Join the Scluminati today via the Patreon link in the description box below.